Welcome to the Travel Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Aylin Blanco. I interview successful industry professionals and share my personal journey to becoming a travel agent. The show is for aspiring travel agents and travel professionals at every level. My mission is to uncover the universal keys to thrive in this business. Join me as I take a closer look into the life of a travel agent. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Travel Agent Podcast. This year, we just keep bringing in the most awesome guests ever, so let's just keep rolling into it. We have another guest. He's amazing, and he's going to introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Steven Scott. Lynn, thanks for having me here. It's been really great watching you blossom and progress, and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So we're going to get started the same way we always get started and ask you how you got started in the industry.
Sure. When I was a child, my mom had started her own travel agency, and she started it in her basement. And she had it all decorated and ran that all the way until she had a full store. Probably around 99, she had a full store in Lombard, Illinois. So, I got to see the growth of her business until she switched over to do something different. And so it was always exciting. And then I got into travel as on my own in 2004 at United Airlines. I got to fly all over the places in my 20s and, learn how to handle ticketing and corporate agencies and leisure travel and just how all the airlines work. And then I went over to Royal Caribbean and spent 5 great years there, working in Miami, New York City, and just learning everything I could about cruise lines and leisure. And so for the last 5.5 years now, I have been operating my own travel agency, working in the luxury segment. And we're doing some pretty exciting things and, weathering the storm, but I think we're doing some really nice things to help us go forward.
Wow. So you have been you've been in this a long time.
Yeah, we're pushing, I would say 17 years just for myself. So I've seen some interesting things along the way, but I wouldn't stop or take any of it back.
Awesome. So since you've been in different segments of the industry, what is something that you learned from the airlines and the cruise industry that you brought over, like one of the most important things that you brought over into your own business?
Yeah, there's a big difference between working at the big companies and the big suppliers compared to starting your own company. I just assumed I'm just gonna, start implementing Salesforce and I'm gonna, have teams of people, working on this and working on that. And, I started out that way, and about 3-4 months into it, you start to look around, you say, hey, I can't afford any of this without customers. So, that started to come crashing down on my head pretty quickly. So I would say some of the things that has really helped me out is that I and my team were able to do both corporate accounts and leisure accounts. And so a lot of agents I've met along the way, they say, oh, I do leisure, or, oh, I do corporate, or, they're very hyper focused into something. We can actually attract everything. And so that's why our customer base is a mixture of music studios from the entertainment side. We've got law firms. So we've got the corporate side, and which is very different. That's very quick, immediate. I need a price now. And they're going from A to B. There's no change, to all the way to the leisure customer where they'll come to us and they'll say, you know what, I kind of know where I want to go, and I know maybe when I want to travel, and you got to start from there and narrow them all the way down. So I think the background of having, significant corporate time, significant leisure time has pulled it together. So our agency can support so many more different types of clientele to help us stay afloat and also to help us grow in different ways.
I think you might be the only other, the second agent that's come on the show that is doing both. That's really awesome. Because I was intrigued about corporate travel, but I really like leisure. So, I thought you had to choose.
Yeah, hey, you can do whatever you want to do, but it's always great to bring in your strengths. And so corporate and leisure is absolutely left brain, right brain type of thing. So My wife is my, second in command here. Actually, she'd probably say I'm second in command. But as we work together, she handles those corporate accounts. I work to bring them in, and then she'll take over those corporate accounts. And she's very, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's how she processes her day. Customer comes to her and says, you know what? I really don't know where I want to go. She's like, you need to talk to Steven. And so then that's me. Whereas I'm like, okay, all right, let's who are you? And that's my conversation with the customer. Who are you? Who's going? What do you like to do? Where have you been before? All of those different things come into leisure, and corporate. It's none of that. It is literally, I have to be there on that date at that time. I have to be within X amount of miles from my meeting place, and the musicians too. The DJs, they don't want to travel across town to get to their DJ set from their airport or hotel. And so you got to be able to really narrow down and find them the best accommodations within that really small circle of locations, and sometimes in places you've never been. If you've never been to Piccadilly Square in London and they've got to do a show there, you're looking around like, okay, maybe I should have use those airline tickets when I had it to go there instead of Vegas for the 8th time. So so it's lots of different things happen, but either way, we have a blast.
Awesome. So you kind of started out telling us a little bit about it, but what is something that you kind of failed at in the very beginning that you were an absolute rock star, like right now?
I would say that in the beginning, it was really patience in understanding that, we are a true startup, at where we are now. Even though we're 5 years into it, there's a lot of factors that go into a business, and understanding, planning, preparation, what are the next steps, budgeting. Budgeting is so much better now than it was before. And it's because when I came into this, I was budgeting like I was myself back in the day. Hey, yeah, I can afford that, or I'll make some money, or my next paycheck's coming next week. Okay, now the paycheck's not coming next week, right? You have to make the money before you get the money. And so budgeting is the biggest thing. If you're ever going to leave your job to start your own company, I always tell people, you better have a year to a year and a half worth of money to the side if you're going to just flat out cut and run like I did. And so I had some great help from Royal Caribbean. They supported me in ensuring that when I came to them and I said, I'm going to leave, the nest, I'm going to go start my own company. They supported me with giving me a 6 month severance boost to be able to make that happen. So I was able to kind of get going, but I sure wish I had my budgeting straight right from the get-go. I would have been in a better spot.
I'm over here like chuckling because very similar. I quit my job. I had all the things. I had all the systems, and no customers, no clients.
Yeah. That is the biggest thing. It's like, hey, you can have all the ideas in the world and all the plans and everything in place, but if you don't have a customer, there's nothing's going to happen after that. And so I was always in sales, I was always in business development, and I always knew, I said, we're the ones that bring the money in. But then I didn't think about all the important people behind the scenes that make that money work and go to the right places and ensure payroll happens, and the financial accounting of where those investments are going, and all of those different things have come into place. That I am such a more well-rounded individual now because of taking on this task, that I'm a different person now. And it doesn't mean I have slowed down. It means once I got a hold of understanding how to operate this business in a better financial way, I was able to accelerate even faster, because now I'm not making the financial mistakes that all of a sudden my systems are shut down and I can't afford to do this or I can't afford to do that. Now it's okay, that has been paid for. I can continue to move forward and not worry about certain things. For example, I used to pay month to month for a lot of things. Now I pay for the year. So it's done.
I just started doing that. That was one of my biggest goals for 2021 is to pay everything in the front of the year. Just take January and pay everything.
Yeah, dude, you
and
just
breathe the rest of the year.
That's right.
I love that so much. So I want to know what your goals are, like your top 3 goals are for 2021.
Sure. 2020 has been a pain in the rear end for every travel person out there, and there's very few entities that have done well during this time. And you even say very few entities. Who are that? I would say those few entities are definitely people related in the sports industries and some television travel agents that are still, you're still kind of moving people around a little bit, large amounts of people around. But for 2021, I definitely am already spending this time now working on that pivot for this year now. So we are number one, launching our new mobile travel app and website. So we are going to be one of those agencies that, yes, we have this wing of our business that is handling luxury travel, supporting planning of trips for families and amazing groups. But then now we're building this entire new division that is going to be consumer focused and absolutely, I think it's going to be the most exciting launch of a mobile application from the travel side in a long time. And obviously I'm not Airbnb. I don't have $30 million of investors going on, but we've had some pretty cool companies come through. So to help us do that, Amadeus has actually signed on and invested in our company. So now we have Amadeus is going to be helping us to finish building the mobile application and website. So we're going to be as powerful as Expedia.com, as Booking.com, and we're really excited about that. Secondly, we want to build up our host agency side of things. So we are now able to manage our own agents within our own company and facilitate that much better and give them all the resources they need to succeed and do well, and not have to worry about going to some giant company that doesn't care about them. I think us in a more tight-knit experience can be great. And then 3, I just want to continue to focus on marketing. And I think we've done some pretty cool things with commercials of how we showcase what we do and the experience you want to have when you're traveling because you booked with us. I think we're going to do it differently. We're going to do it better and more faster and more exciting than everybody else.
I love that so much. So here's the thing. I love it when I can say, what are your top goals? Because that means that you have been intentional and very strategic in making sure that 2020 did not define your business. So congratulations to you for really having a clear picture of how you want to end up at the end of this year.
That's right. Thank you.
Awesome. So in that, what has been one of the scariest business decisions that you've had to make?
Ever, or just in the last couple of months?
Either or both.
The scariest thing was the moment in time when we had, as I was starting the first year, I was starting to accumulate more and more people. And it was a situation where when you start something that, you got a good reputation. I had a good reputation, right? I don't want to say I don't have one, but at the moment when I started, I had a pretty good reputation. At that time, when I told the world, hey, I'm starting this new company, it's gonna be Travel Hub 365. I'm really excited about what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. I had probably 15 to 20 friends and former coworkers reach out to me to say, hey, I want to work with you. I want to help out. I want to join your company. They came out of the woodwork. And I definitely look back and I say, you know what? I should have told them all no, because I started bringing in people left and right. And it was something that I didn't have the money for all that. And of course, like we talked about before, budgeting was the hard part at that point. And so I brought in all my friends and family, everybody. I will tell anybody now, don't do that. You're going to love these people when you start, and then things are going to happen. And the next thing you know, you won't have that friend anymore. So the hardest part was starting to peel away the people that gravitated towards you in the very beginning, because the time you need to spend on your business at that very critical time is now spent on peeling back these relationships that now are critical to your business. Whereas before it was just a friend that, hey, you know what, we used to work together. Now that friend is like, you can't reach them when you need them, or you hand them a quote. You say, hey, all right, this is a really important quote. We never get these quotes. Here's a quote, please work on it. And you don't hear from that person for 2 days. That's the stuff that hurts. It is so painful. So you've got to be able to figure out how to keep focused on your task, on your goals, your ideals, but know that there are going to be these folks, good or bad, that are going to try and attach, and they may have every good intention, but no one is going to care about your business as much as you. And you've got to be able to challenge yourself to understand that from the beginning and not be a jerk about it, but be that person that says, I thank you for reaching out, but it's just not the right time. And so that still hurts me to this moment, but I learned from it at the right time. And I think we've been better off since then.
Yeah, I've also been working on saying no.
Good.
Saying no is a critical part of being a business owner. So thank you for that advice as well. This has been such a great conversation, and I am very excited to see and to hear how the app, and what's it called again?
Odyssey.
Awesome. So I'm very excited to hear more about Odyssey. So we are most definitely going to have you back on the show just to kind of catch up with you. Any information you want to know, you can go to thetravelagentpodcast.com, and his blog will be there with all of his information. Again, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I look forward to the follow-up.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you for joining the Travel Agent Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Visit thetravelagentpodcast.com for more information about today's episode and other travel agent resources. Be sure to tune in every Thursday for new episodes. Until next time, continue to build a travel business you love.